meaning. It marks the public launch of our strategic plan, which is our vision for the next decade of arts and sciences. We've been working on this for 9 months, and we have released our plan to the world this week. A link is in the chat, and I hope that you will take a moment to look through it when you have the chance. Our plan is a roadmap meant to move us forward, bolster the education we offer, and strengthen the scholarship we provide. And of course, none of it would be possible without your support. At the end of this event, we will show a video to help you understand just how much excitement we are feeling right now. Today's event will focus on 2 related topics. First, the tax planning implications of the Build Back Better Act supported by the White House. And second, the power of planned gifts and how these charitable giving options may also achieve either income or tax savings for you or both. My job is to introduce one of my favorite colleagues, Mary Stahl. Mary is Regional Director of Planned Giving, who will lead the rest of this presentation. Mary has spent her professional career working with people like you who desire to leave a legacy that will help sustain a mission they care deeply about. Please welcome Mary Stahl.
Okay, can everybody see me? And you can see the slides? Okay, great. Thank you, Deborah. It's nice to be with all of you today, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to talk with you about one of my favorite subjects, which is the power of planned gifts. We will also talk about the potential impact of the Biden tax plan. So I've been working in fundraising for about 15 years, and it brings me great joy to help people make gifts to support the things that are important to them. Philanthropy is a choice, and when I work with donors, I always tell them I want them to be happy with the gifts that they make to Washington University. Part of being happy with your gifts is understanding the options you have and then making good choices for how to best support your favorite charities. Today, we're going to discuss ways to leave a legacy, even if you think you don't have enough resources to make a difference. We will cover tax-wise charitable giving, including recent changes to US tax laws that could stretch your dollar and make it possible for you to make the impact you desire. With that in mind, the presentation today will focus on defining philanthropy and planned giving, reviewing the SECURE Act and the CARES Act, looking at Biden's Build Back Better tax plan and the potential impact, and then reviewing giving strategies before meeting a couple who have recently let the university know they have included Washington University in their estate plans. Let's start with the definition of philanthropy. In one statement, philanthropy is the practice of giving money and time to help make life better for other people. I think of philanthropy as a win-win. The donor wins from feeling good about their gift, and they may receive tax benefits, and the charity wins when they receive funds to support their good work. Now that we're on the same page about a definition for philanthropy, I want to share a brief explanation of how we view planned giving at Washington University. Our staff work with alumni and friends to figure out what to support and to help find tax-efficient strategies to achieve charitable goals. Using passion, plan, and impact as a framework, planned giving is the process of helping you determine the most effective method for making a gift to WashU in the context of your financial, retirement, or estate plan. As you will see in the following slides, when we combine your passion with good planning, it can have a tremendous impact and create that win-win situation that is so powerful. The next few slides will review current considerations such as the SECURE Act, the CARES Act, as well as the potential impact of President Biden's Build Back Better framework. The SECURE Act was passed into law in December of 2019. And it was the largest change to retirement plan law in more than a decade. The Secure Act increases the age for required minimum distributions from retirement accounts to age 72. It also repealed the maximum age to contribute to an IRA, meaning that individuals over age 70 and a half with earned income can continue to contribute to an IRA. The deduction limit for 2021 is $6,000 for total contributions to both traditional and Roth IRAs, with a $1,000 catch-up contribution for individuals age 50 and older. The 10-year distribution rule eliminates the stretch IRA provision. And what this means is distributions from inherited retirement plan assets must be taken over a period no longer than 10 years following the death of the retirement plan owner. Here are the primary considerations of the 10-year distribution rule. Most heirs must take all payments within 10 years of inheriting a retirement account. IRA, 401k, and 403b beneficiaries must pay taxes on the payments at ordinary income tax rates. And an increased income from the inheritance of a retirement account may push an individual to a higher tax bracket.
You there?
Lead to between 24 and 50% of the payment might be lost due to the taxes. So what does this mean as far as charitable opportunities? You could name WashU or other charities as a beneficiary of your IRA and leave other assets to your heirs. With a qualified charitable distribution, you may make a gift from your IRA directly to WashU. And this is a great way to make your annual fund gift or a major gift up to $100,000. There's no charitable tax deduction for the gift, but that is offset because you don't realize the income as a withdrawal from your IRA. You cannot use an IRA to create a life income gift during your lifetime, but I will share an example later in the presentation about how you can fund a testamentary charitable remainder unitrust with funds from an IRA. The CARES Act was signed into law on March 27th of 2020. The CARES Act was extended through the end of this calendar year, and here are a few important things to remember. For individuals who do not itemize on their taxes, they can claim a charitable tax deduction of up to $300 for cash donations made. And for those who do itemize, the CARES Act increased the deduction limitation for charitable cash contributions from 60% to 100% of adjusted gross income in 2021. There is a 5-year carryover that applies to contributions in excess of this amount. Donor advised funds are excluded and corporate deduction limitations increased from 10 to 25%. President Biden's Build Back Better social spending and tax was recently passed by the House of Representatives on November 19 and has been sent to the Senate. The package contains a number of tax law changes that would boost taxes for some people and cut them for others, potentially having a significant impact on ordinary income tax, long-term capital gains, itemized deductions, and estate taxes. So the next couple of charts show a comparison of current tax law on the left-hand side compared to potential changes on the right-hand side. The top rate on ordinary income may change from 37% to 39.6%, with the top rate of 39.6% that would apply for taxpayers with income in excess of $400,000. The top rate on long-term capital gain and qualified dividends may see a significant change, with the top rate increasing from 20 to 39.6% for taxpayers earning more than $1 million and eliminating a step up in basis for capital gains taxation. And I'm not going to read the potential payroll tax law changes, but there may be significant impact on high income individuals. For itemized deductions, they may change with the reinstatement of the PZ limitation for those earning in excess of $400,000. There is a cap for itemized deductions at a 28% rate when income exceeds $400,000. Potential estate tax changes include the decrease for the estate tax exemption to 3.5 million with a top tax rate of 45%. Decrease the lifetime exemption amount for $1 million with the top tax rate of 45%. And then any appreciation in assets would be taxed at death, regardless of whether the asset is sold. A reduction in the federal estate tax exemption amount, which is currently $11.7 million, was anticipated to drop significantly. So Congress will need to address this soon, since the lifetime exemption is automatically cut approximately in half at the end of 2025. At this point, it's impossible to say which, if any, of the proposed tax law changes will survive and be enacted into law. And of course, additional tax provisions could be added later. Nothing is set in stone, but all of these potential changes will have significant impact on wealth transfer strategies and philanthropy. The remaining slides will review some giving strategies for you to consider. When considering planned gift options, there are two basic types of gifts: revocable and irrevocable. With revocable gifts, you retain control of assets during your lifetime, and you have the flexibility for changing based on personal and family circumstances. Examples include bequests through a will or trust, beneficiary designations for things like qualified retirement plans, life insurance policies, and commercial annuities. And then payable on death or transfer on death can be used for bank accounts and brokerage accounts. Anyone can make an estate gift. Donors who make estate gifts are people of all ages and many different economic backgrounds. For donors with very large estates, the tax benefits of including philanthropic gifts in their estate plans can not only positively impact the charity, but also have a positive impact on their estate tax. With no gift to a charity, the approximate estate tax on a $14 million estate would be $1,128,000, leaving the family $12,872,000, as shown in the middle column of this slide. This illustration shows how a simple bequest to a charity can reduce the estate taxes in a significant way. In this scenario, and as shown in the third column, the family still receives more than $12 million, but a charity of the donor's choice also receives $1 million. And I call this a win-win. Getting just the highlights of life income gifts: when you choose to fund a charitable gift annuity or establish a charitable remainder unit trust, you provide valuable support for WashU, and you also receive income, generate income tax deduction, reduce or avoid capital gain tax, and generate estate tax savings. Life income gifts are a great example of the power of planning. As mentioned earlier when I talked about the Secure Act and the CARES Act, individual retirement accounts can be a great asset to use when supporting WashU, since the funds go into your IRA account pre-tax. You may recall you can name WashU or other charities as a beneficiary of your IRA. You can make a qualified charitable distribution directly to a charity, or you can use assets from your IRA to fund a testamentary charitable remainder unit trust. This chart compares using the assets in an IRA to fund a testamentary CRUT, again, charitable remainder unit trust. This CRUT would pay the donor's child an income versus the child inheriting the IRA directly. As you can see on the sixth line down, the estimated total payout to the child is actually higher with the testamentary CRUT shown in the middle column than it is if the IRA was inherited by the child, as shown in the third column. Not only does the child receive more income over time, but the remainder in the CRUT when the child passes away goes to the charity. This is accomplished because there are no taxes paid on the inherited asset when they go into a CRUT that will eventually benefit the charity. Again, a real win-win. Additional giving strategies include: you can use real estate to make a gift, you can establish a grantor or non-grantor lead trust, and you can make gifts of life insurance. Planned gifts often support an endowed fund, but just like with an outright gift, you can choose how your gift is used, either to be used right away when it is received or placed in an endowment. In this brief presentation, I simply highlighted a couple of ways you can use planned gifts to reach your financial and philanthropic goals. Planned gifts are an important way to support Washington University or your other favorite charities. I love the work I do because I get to work with such a variety of people and help them do things that often are beyond their expectations. Planned gifts often create a win-win situation where the donor feels really good about what they are able to do, and the university receives a gift in support of important research, scholarship, or other programs. Thank you for your attention today, and please know the planned giving team at WashU is a resource for you as you consider your financial and philanthropic goals. We will have time for questions at the end of the program, and I also want you to have contact information for at least a couple of us in the Office of Planned Giving. Russ Austin leads our team, and he is participating in the program today during the upcoming Q&A. And this slide just shows our contact information. We welcome conversation with you anytime. Washington University is fortunate to have many friends who have made plans to support the university. The Robert S. Brookings Partners recognizes those who support the university through estate gifts and other planned gifts. Next, you will hear from new Brookings Partners members, Angela and Gary Most, who have recently let us know they have included Washington University in their estate plans. Angela is a graduate of Olin Business School, and she and her husband Gary share an appreciation and enthusiasm for Washington University. One way they express their appreciation is by paying it forward through both outright and planned gifts to a variety of WashU schools, programs, and centers. Creating an endowed scholarship to support arts and sciences students and making gifts to Siteman Cancer Center are just two ways they make their contributions even more meaningful because of the personal connection behind each gift. In the next part of our program, I will ask Angela and Gary a couple of questions and allow them to tell you in their own words why they support Washington University. First, thank you to Angela and Gary for taking time to participate in the Power of Arts and Sciences program today. And now I would just ask, would one of you start us off by describing your WashU philanthropy?
Well, sure, Mary. Thank you so much for the introduction and having us here today. I'll tell you, as a graduate of Olin in 1990, I was active giving a check here, a check there, but nothing really concrete or lasting or very consistent. And then, for better or for worse, in 2008, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and was treated by the wonderful team at Siteman Cancer Center. And I vividly remember sitting on my bed at Barnes when Dr. Aft came in to tell me that they thought they had gotten it all and I should be okay. And I remember vividly just being overwhelmed with gratitude and thinking, we need to do something. We are just so grateful for the treatment that I received and actually still continue to receive from that. And we wanted to do something. So having said that, life got in the way for a couple of years. And in 2010, we finally did get a hold of our lawyer and make the change to our estate. And we did, in fact, leave some money to the Siteman Cancer Center for breast cancer research. And then we did not follow number 3 on a couple of slides a couple of slides ago, Mary. We sat on it. We were just so happy that we were able to do this and pay it forward and help Washington University continue with the wonderful medical school that they have and to provide treatment for other cancer patients. We didn't tell anyone until in 2019, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but it was time for my 30-year class reunion. And Emily Mottby contacted me and asked me about a gift in honor of our 30-year class reunion. And I said, well, we already have something in our will. Does that count? And she said, oh, yes, of course it does. So we caught up with the paperwork at that point, and made ourselves official donors through our will in the eyes of Washington University to Simon Cancer Center. And then my husband and I discussed how we wanted to honor Washington University, because we know firsthand the benefit of a Washington University education. We live it every day, the benefits of it, and we felt 30 years was a good time to do something else significant. So we talked to Emily and other staff at Washington University, and we decided the best way that we could make a difference would be through scholarship at the Arts and Sciences School instead of Olin, where I graduated. So we once again made that change to our will, and then we decided to kickstart it with a gift of appreciated securities, which
we did. And
Yeah.
it was something that we talked about as a couple, but like Angela said, it really was, to us, we knew that the educational foundation she received at WashU was a huge benefit for us moving forward in our professional lives and in our personal lives and our family. This just seemed like the right thing to do for us. And it was something that we wanted to do. And oddly enough, kind of looking back to before we were even married, I had a millennial to-do list. And within that millennium to-do list, within that to-do list, one of my number of items I had listed was to start a scholarship. And I had no idea what that meant in the early 1990s, but I knew I wanted to try to do that. And this just kind of worked perfectly and dovetailed together all these years later. So it's been wonderful, and it's been a great experience.
That is wonderful. And just real quick, when you say kickstart, I'll just define what that means. You went ahead and made an outright gift, you said, of securities, but you have started the scholarship in your lifetime with it being fully funded through your estate commitment. Is that right?
that is correct. We used appreciated securities. We pledged that over a 4 or 5 year period. I forgot exactly. To, as you said, I think you used the term kickstart with in reference to getting the scholarship going in our lifetime, so
Good.
we can actually see the benefits that the students are receiving, and hopefully next year meet one of them. So.
And would either of you like to address just how this experience has been for you and how has it made you feel?
Absolutely. It's been fulfilling on a number of levels. Personally, educationally, to take a look back and know that hopefully we are helping others, not only on the medical side, but also on the arts and sciences side with the scholarship. Folks maybe that didn't have the advantages, folks that need just a little bit extra help, or that this will help them achieve the same type of education that Angela was fortunate enough to receive. And it just seemed like the right thing to do, paying it forward. And we're very excited about it.
Good.
You know, again, Washington University says often, a WashU education is within reach, and there are a lot of things that go into that to make that happen. And we are just very, very proud, very grateful for what we have been given, and we're very proud to be able to give back to the university and pay it forward for some deserving students in the future.
Well, that's wonderful. What about the process of making your gift? And you've done multiple types of gifts, I understand. So whatever comes to mind when I ask this, was there anything that was somewhat difficult in making the gift? And then what was the easiest thing about making the scholarship gift, I guess, is what I'm thinking about.
Well, the hardest thing is just literally making the call to your lawyer and getting the paperwork taken care of. It is just not something, I don't know that we don't frequently communicate with our lawyer. I guess that's a good thing, but we just need to make the call and sit down and get the paperwork done and get it wrapped up. But the easiest thing is far and away the staff at Washington University. The advancement staff are amazing. We have probably met 6 or 7 of them through this journey, and one is better than the other. Very helpful, very kind, very, very grateful, and easy to work with. And they will walk you through the process and you'll get it done.
Good, that's good to know. One last question, and you're welcome to add any other thoughts you have, but is there anything in particular that you would say to anyone that might be thinking about making a planned gift to WashU?
The only thing I think we would say is if you're thinking about it, do it. There's no time like the present, act on it. And that's kind of what we've tried to do, and it's worked out well. And it's just amazing. The one other thing I'll add to it, Mary, is that the team there, we thought we knew what the benefit of a scholarship was, having this put in play. And then through working with your team, with Tony and others, learning even more about the background, what goes into it, the benefits, and how those ripples continue to feed their way out has made it even better. And, so I wish we would have done it a little sooner.
Yeah. I'd like to say quickly, I was thinking about this today, and just when I was reviewing some thoughts in my mind. When I was watching Chancellor Danforth's memorial service, and John F. McDonnell was speaking, and he was talking about his hike in New Zealand that he made with Chancellor. I was thinking about John. He worked at McDonnell Douglas and then Boeing for 25 years. And few people are able to have an impact on an institution such as John McDonnell, not only an institution, but our community, and I dare even say the world. But do what you can. You know, Gary and I won't be able to make the same impact as John McDonnell or others like him, but we do what we can. And together, we all can work together, do what we can, and work together to make Washington University even better than what it is.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Angela and Gary, you have done a great job sharing your story, and it's been a joy to get to know you. And I would just say that you are a good example of the power of planned giving. So thank you again for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you.
And I believe we have some more comments from Deborah. Is that right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary, and Russ, and Gary, and Angela for such a thought-provoking presentation. I also want to thank everyone for joining us to celebrate the power of arts and sciences. It's because of the strength of our community, which includes all of you, that I'm confident the next decade holds great promise for our school. I will leave you, as promised, with this closing video to help convey the excitement we are feeling about arts and sciences today.
Our campus sits near the confluence of 2 ancient rivers. Ecosystems merge and thrive in our midst. Our region has seen diverse cultures take root, fight for survival, and reach toward greatness. A host of resources, historical and cultural, innovative and intellectual, enrich our work. They draw us to engage with our city, with each other, and with communities around the globe. Our school, Arts and Sciences, represents a convergence of ideas that shape our understanding of the world, and indeed the world itself. We will elevate scholarship that is creative and ambitious by embracing new ideas emerging technologies, and shifting paradigms. We will honor and promote the pursuit and discovery of knowledge. We will seek distinction in cutting-edge scholarship and push boundaries both within and among disciplines to meet the most critical challenges facing our communities and our planet. We will find new ways to tell our story, to share the matter and meaning behind our work. We are an institution devoted to bringing people together to serve the public good. Our partnerships here in St. Louis and across the region will identify shared goals, and we will pursue academic and educational excellence that positively impacts our communities.
We will forge critical connections
From the local to the global,
expanding solutions.
and imparting lasting impacts on the world. Within our own community,
Faculty, staff, and students
of all identities will feel valued,
represented, and equally empowered to pursue their goals.
Here, we will create
meaningful connections
with our peers,
our mentors,
and the St. Louis community,
we will gather knowledge
and learn how to apply it
to build lives
filled with meaning and purpose.
we will go out into the world
As engaged,
Active,
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 and impactful members of our communities.
Together, our voices will rise to shape the next decade and all the decades to come. We are ready. The time is now. Welcome to the Decade of Arts and Sciences.